Hi everyone. It's summer here in the Northern Hemisphere. It's hot out in a lot of places, and this is a really good time for us to have a cooling practice, particularly if you're the kind of person who starts feeling really irritable or burnt out, tired. In short, you're really affected by the summer weather. This is a great time to allow yourself to slow down, to take rest, real rest, and to focus on cooling practices in your yoga practice. I'm going to share with you 3 restorative yoga postures that can be really great for this purpose in the summer. I want to be clear that this is not really intended as a practice video. In other words, I'm not going to talk you through holding each of the poses and talk you through both sides of each pose. I'm just going to talk through what the setups might be. And then you can use the ones that you like in your practice. So I got a bunch of stuff around me. You may not have the same stuff in your home. So part of the function of this video is for you to start thinking about how could you set up a similar kind of practice for yourself with the things that you have around you, because we don't need to go out and buy more stuff. We're trying to have less things to do. So use the stuff that you have around you, be creative. Hopefully I'll be able to give you some ideas in this video. The first thing we're going to do here is a seated, wide-legged posture. We vent heat from the body through our legs and our arms, between the legs, under the arms, is a good way to cool off, straightening the knees, those kinds of things. So the more space we can have around the joints, the less sweaty we get through those areas, the more we can vent heat from the body. So for this, you may want something to sit on, and that's because sitting with legs straight is not always comfortable for folks. So I have a blanket under my sitting bones. You might have more than one blanket. You might have a pillow. You might be sitting on something else. Try to have something to sit on. And then how wide your legs go, this is really going to depend on the person. But you're going to have your legs a little bit wider. You're going to have space here between the legs. We want to fold forward to support. So for me, who's not super flexible in this wide-legged position, this option doesn't work really well for me, but it might work for you. Having a cushion or some pillows stacked up that you can then fold forward, layer your body over. You can see I'm not close, but layer your body over, place your head down. Sometimes we can add a block. I'm kind of close, but not really. That's not restful for me. Summer's a time when we want to be mindful of that competitive streak that we might have, because that can drive us even more into being irritated and uncomfortable. So we want this to feel really easy and lovely. If that's easy and lovely for you, that's a nice way to do it. If it's not, one of my favorites is to take a firm cushion like a yoga bolster and place my head on it and then just angle this so I'm able to rest my forehead. But I don't feel like I have to go further than is really comfortable. I might play with how wide I have my legs here, and I'm not working to really fold super far forward here. I'm just finding some rest for my head. So you can kind of play with this setup. Another thing you can do here is bring a chair over in front of you, place your hands on the chair, and lean forward this way. If you're not able to get on the floor, you could sit on the seat of a chair, bring your legs a little wider, and fold forward onto a desk. So there's lots of options here to play with this kind of posture. You might rest here starting for maybe 2 or 3 minutes, and then working up to 5 or maybe 10 minutes, depending on what feels good for you. There's not time in a video like this to address everything that could possibly be going on in your body, so suffice it to say, this posture is intended for rest. We want to be able to be comfortable and at ease here. If that's not happening for you, then you might just need a little more personalized support. Find a teacher or a yoga therapist who can help you figure that out. So that's option one. Another posture that can be really nice for this time of year is a restorative side bend. I'm going to roll up a foam pad for this. You may not have one of these. So things that I've used are blankets. I've used a rolled yoga mat. Actually works pretty well for this. You can roll a blanket up. You may have a little round cushion or something like that that you can use. This is going to go under the side of my body. And then I'm going to use something else, blanket, pillow, block for my head. I'm going to lie down here so that this is underneath the side of my ribs, but that I have space comfortably to have my shoulder rest on the top side of this roll and that my arm is free. I'm going to rest my head. And I'm going to take the first few breaths here just to feel into this. So if you have something firmer underneath you, it might feel kind of diggy and uncomfortable. And that might be okay. So what I'd suggest is giving this a minute or so to see what happens with that sensation. If it's getting more intense, or if it's really, really intense to begin with, this might be too much. If it's getting less over time, this is probably an appropriate level of stimulus for you. So if it feels like too much, you can make the roll smaller. You can get something softer for the roll, or you can try moving the roll down more towards your waist. What I really like to do here, if it's something that is doable for you, is to take this top arm up overhead. So this way we're now opening up through the armpit, opening up through the whole top side of the body to allow for some cooling there. If this isn't comfortable for you, sometimes people can bring the arm just more in front. And sometimes we play with putting something like another block or blanket here underneath the arm. You can, of course, have your arm by your side or in front of you. If that is the most comfortable place for you, that's the right thing to do. Don't worry about the cooling. You're still opening up here through the side of your body. You're still taking a rest here. So those things are really important. If you get pain on the bottom hip or shoulder, you might try adding padding and seeing if that helps. If you get some discomfort through your low back or your hip or your knee, you might try putting something like a pillow in between your legs and see if that helps here. This is an asymmetrical posture, so you're lying on one side. So you want to make sure you do both sides for this. You might, again, start with 2 or 3 minutes on each side. If that feels comfortable for you, you might then work up to 5 or 10 minutes on each side. Just paying attention to what feels good for your body and really taking your time to build up to more time here, because sometimes this can be a lot for your body to be taking on these new shapes and having this new input of whatever is underneath you. So the last thing that we'll do here is we will do a pose lying on your back with some support underneath your spine. So again, there's lots of things you can use. If you have a spinal strip, you can use that. You can use a bolster. You can use a rolled yoga mat. You can use a rolled or folded blanket or two. We're going to place something along the mat lengthways so that it's going to be underneath your back. And we want to make sure that your head is supported. So if you're taller or you have a shorter item here for support, we want to either add something else to hold your head up, or we want to make sure that we have this placed high enough that your head is supported. So, there's probably ideals, but for what you have at home, you can kind of figure out what works for you. The other thing I'm going to grab here is I'm going to grab a couple of yoga blocks. If you don't have blocks, you can use more blankets. You can use any type of item that is the right size. What we're going to use these for is to support knees or thighs so that we have something to relax down into. We're not really pushing into that maximum stretch over an extended period of time. What you're going to do is you're going to lie down over this supporting surface here. If you feel like you need more support, you are absolutely welcome to either add something for the head, or what can be actually really nice here, if what you have at home is too high for your spine, is to just add some support underneath your hips. So there's not such a big difference here. And sometimes what feels like neck discomfort is actually because there's not enough flexibility lower down in the spine. So when we lift the hips up a little bit, we actually allow the neck to just rest, and that can be really comfortable. So you're going to adjust for what you feel. And then if it works for you, you're going to bring the soles of your feet together and your knees wide. And you're going to bring some kind of support you can play with, having it more under the thighs or more under the knees itself. And you're looking for that feeling that you can relax down into that support. Arms, if you're comfortable with it, are going to come a little more out from the body. Again, we're going to vent heat here. We're going to have some space in between the arms and the body. If, like me, you're on something that's quite high and it feels like a stretch for the arms to come all the way down to the floor, you could grab more blankets and put them underneath the arms. If this is not the arm position you want to be in here, then feel free to change your position. It's all good. This posture, we want to feel really comfortable, and this is one that you can spend a little more time in if it is feeling good for you. So you might start with 5 minutes, you might work up to 10 or 15 minutes, even 20 or 30 minutes if you've got it. This is a great pose to use if you have a guided meditation, but if you're going to be holding it for longer, we do want to make sure we have really good support. If you're kind of stretching into your end range of motion, you're sort of barely tolerating the position, and then you're holding it in gravity for a long period of time, you may end up pretty sore or uncomfortable afterwards, and you may also end up a little bit more stretched out than your brain and your body really want you to be. So it's always better when you're learning something new, if this practice is newer for you, to start with a little bit less, to start with shorter amounts of time, to start with more support, and then to figure out what really works for you as you are going through the practice over time. You might start to extend the time that you're spending in the poses little by little. Again, if you are somebody who gets dysregulated in summer, you may also be someone who is kind of on the competitive side. So just watch that tendency to push yourself. These postures are not about that. These postures are about taking it easy, finding some rest, letting ourselves cool and recover in a season that might be quite stressful for us. I hope this is really helpful. If you have questions, please share those in the comments. I will read those and respond to them. If you want to share your experience of these postures, I'd love to hear how they land for you. Stay cool. Have a great summer, and may we all be balanced and well. Take really good care.